Part 2 of lesson 1-3, and let's share that screen. Okay, solve each inequality and graph the solutions. Okay, so we are doing absolute value, but we're doing absolute value inequalities, so we will be doing graphing on number line. Number 6. 4 times the absolute value of 2w plus 3 absolute value minus 7 is less than or equal to 9. Okay. So first we want to do is isolate. So I'm going to add the 7. We get less than or equal to 16. Divide by 4, and we get absolute 2w plus 3 absolute value is less than or equal to 4. From here, how you solve. When the absolute value of something, and we'll call it A in the scenario, is less than or equal to an answer, you will use this format. You will make a compound inequality. So you will change the answer to its opposite, and then you'll use the same sign as the other, and you'll create a compound inequality. So let me say that again real quick. So we've isolated, we have the original inequality, and then we do the opposite of the answer, -4, and then I use the same sign for both. Okay. From here, we're gonna subtract 3 from all parts. So left, middle, and right. So I get -7 is less than or equal to 2w, less than or equal to 1. And then I divide by 2, and I get -7 halves, less than or equal to w, less than or equal to 1/2. So that's part of my answer. Now I need to do the number line. Now, when you have fractions, you will not actually use fractions on the number line. The number line should only ever be integers. So, -7 halves is as a decimal, -3.5. And 1/2 is the decimal of 0.5. Okay, so that's not my answer, but we can know that so we can figure out my decimal situation. So that means I need to go from -4 to at least 1. Okay. So I'm going to plot -7 halves, so 3.5, make my point. 1/2, make my point. And since it's a compound, that means the variables in between, draw my line between the two answers. And that's how I solve number 6. So this is resembling an AND statement. Think about the AND statement we did on the last problems. Okay, let's do number 7. Kind of drew the circle over the letter, or over the number. 1/9 absolute value, 5w, well, 5x, minus 3 absolute value, minus 3 greater than or equal to 2. Okay, so first thing we have to do is isolate it. So go ahead and pause it and isolate. I hope you paused. So we add our 3. So we have greater than or equal to 5. And then we have 1/9, so it means I'm going to multiply by 9. So I get absolute value of 5x minus 3 greater than or equal than 45. So as you can tell, this one is different because the sign is facing to the left. So when you have the absolute value of something and it is greater than or equal to an answer, you'll use this format. And that is the format that we used on the last problems from 1-2, where you do both options, as well as with absolute values. So 5x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 45, or 5x minus 3 is less than or equal to negative 45. So not only did you switch the answer, you also switched the sign. And then we solve. Add 3 and divide. 48/5, not a great decimal, but we'll figure it out. Add 3 and divide, and we get negative 42/5. Okay, so both of those are not great fractions to figure out pretty easily, but we can figure that out just using our calculator. Okay, 48 divided by 5 is 9.6, and negative 42 divided by 5 is negative 8.4. Now, in this type of problem, the range of values is much greater than ones we've done before. So typically you're going to go by ones, but if you have problems that are much further, you can go by you can go by 2s, 4s, 5s. Okay, those are the most common ones that people will go by. Okay, but you don't want to go by anything too big to where it's not really noticeable what you're graphing. So I'm going to go ahead and go by 4s because those are pretty far apart. So I'll start with 0 in the middle. And we have our answers, our setup for our numbers. So I have 9.6, so it's going to be somewhere around here. And it said x is greater than that. So it goes to the right. And then negative 8.4 should just slightly be past that point. And it said less than, so it's to the left. And so we have our answer here. So we have our two solutions and our two graphs that are going in opposite directions. One more for the notes, number 8. Absolute value of x minus 3 divided by 2 plus 2 is less than 6. So what should we do first? Well, we got to subtract that 2. So we get x minus 3 divided by 2 is less than 4. So based on the patterns above, should this be an and, oh, didn't fill this out, or an or, okay? Should they be working together or are they working separately together? Okay, this one would be an and statement. So I'm going to transition this to be x minus 3 divided by 2 is less than 4. I'm going to write the answer as the opposite with the negative and use the same sign. The first thing I'm going to do is multiply everything by 2. Negative 8 is less than x minus 3, less than 8. Add the 3, and I get negative 5 is less than x, which is less than 11. Okay, go ahead and choose what you want to go by. That's a larger chunk of numbers. Again, you can go by 2s, 4s, or 5s. I'm going to delay now. Hopefully you're pausing. pause. Make sure you're pausing. Right? Do it yourself. I want to make sure that you can try it on your own, and then you can verify from my answer. Okay, so again, you could go by 4s, 2s, 5s, whatever you feel like is most necessary. Okay, I'm going to go by 4s again. Okay, I didn't actually have to go all the way to -12 on the other side to get the point for this one. So we have -5, which is going to be about here. And we got 11, which should be about here. And the answers are in between. And so that's how we get our answer. We get our numerical statement and our graph. Okay, and I hope that all went well for you today. And go ahead and start your work.